In this chapter, you will know what are the 12 interpretation protocols, how to correctly apply them. The 12 interpretation protocols are: Too Much Information Protocol, Clarification and Repetition Protocol, Inability to Understanding Protocol, Unclear Audio Protocol, Personal Opinions Protocol, Asking Not to Interpret Protocol, LEP Can Speak English Protocol, Hold Time Protocol, Side Conversation Protocol, Profanity and Hate Speech Protocol, Line Dropped Protocol, Interruption Protocol.
As an interpreter, it's expected to act as a conduit during interpretation sessions. However, if there is a reason for intervention and interrupting the session's flow, you may change your role to be a clarifier, cultural broker, or advocate by adhering to certain guidelines and protocols. Always keep the client informed of every detail related to the session. Provide a justification or explanation for all interventions, such as line cutoff, static, etc. Hello. We need to talk about your medical condition. Basically, what's happening is that your body is not functioning as it should, and this is causing some symptoms that you've been experiencing. But don't worry, we have some treatments available that can help you feel better.
When noticing during the interpretation session that one of the parties is providing more information than you can render in a statement, as an interpreter you would need to intervene by waiting for a natural pause in the speech pattern. Your following actions will be defined based on whether the speaker is the client or the LEP.
Address the client by saying, "This is the interpreter. For accuracy purposes, I can only manage a limited amount of information, so kindly pause frequently. May I interpret the information given so far?" If the LEP is the speaker, "This is the interpreter. For accuracy purposes, I can only manage a limited amount of information, so kindly pause frequently. May I interpret the information given so far?" Notify the client of the reason for the intervention in English. "This is the interpreter. I have advised your client to provide limited amount of information for accuracy purposes and to pause frequently. Here is the rendition."
We have your blood test results. It looks like you have a condition called hypothyroidism.
During the interpretation session, when you need to ask for clarification or repetition, you could use this statement for intervention. "This is the interpreter. Kindly clarify or repeat the statement to ensure the accuracy of interpretation." Sometimes after asking the client or the LEP to repeat due to hearing issues, poor audio, unstable connection, or microphone adjusting, you could also discover that you need clarification for a certain term. Don't hesitate to ask for clarification then.
The client or provider is the speaker. You must justify the reason of the clarification and repetition. Ask him or her directly. Request permission from the client or provider to ask the LEP by saying, "This is the interpreter. May I ask your client to repeat or clarify?" Address the LEP by saying in the target language, "This is the interpreter. Kindly clarify or repeat the last segment to ensure the accuracy of interpretation."
Let me repeat, the good news is that we have treatments available for hypothyroidism.
As an interpreter, whenever you run into a wall of having to repeat the same information at least 2 to 3 times to the other party, and the information doesn't seem to be getting through, it may require you to find different ways to convey the message in order to help the person understand. If the client is the speaker, allow the client to express himself or herself 3 times. If the message still isn't going through to the LEP, address the client by saying, This is your interpreter. Your client doesn't seem to clearly express their concern or point. Would you like me to confirm with them? Then, tell the English speaker what exactly you would say in the target language. Lastly, start rendering. If the LEP is the speaker, address the client by saying, I am under the impression that your client is not getting what you want to express. Can I confirm with them?
Now, let me explain a little bit more about body.
During the interpretation session, in case there's an audio issue or any other reason that prevents you from hearing a statement, your actions will be taken after finding a neutral pause for intervention. If the problem is with the client's audio, you could say, This is the interpreter, I apologize for the interruption, but your voice is, mention the issue, then follow that with would you kindly, suggest a possible solution, and repeat. If the problem is with the LEP's audio, first, politely interrupt the LEP in their native language. Second, proceed with notifying the client by saying, This is your interpreter, I politely interrupted your client as they were, mention the issue, may I ask them to, suggest a possible solution, and repeat. Lastly, proceed with asking the LEP in their target language.
Mr. Interpreter, do you think he's saying the truth?
Interpreters must avoid giving their opinions if it's been requested on something that isn't a death or living matter. In case you are asked to give your opinion, your actions will be based on the party who has asked your opinion. In case the requester is the client, you'll say, This is your interpreter, please be advised that due to company policy, I am not permitted to express personal opinions, I can only interpret what is being said within this call. If the requester is the LEP, you'll say in the LEP's target language, This is your interpreter, please be advised that due to company policy, I am not permitted to express personal opinions, I can only interpret what is being said within this call. Then, notify the client about the incident.
I can't stand this patient. Please don't interpret that.
When one of the parties is asking you don't interpret something, you'll act based on the requester's role in the session unless it's a mistake that's being rephrased. When the client is the requester, you'll reply to the client's request with, This is the interpreter, please be advised that due to company policies, I must interpret everything that is said within this call. You'll say in the LEP's target language, This is the interpreter, please be advised that due to company policies, I must interpret everything that is said within this call. Then, notify the client in English by saying, This is the interpreter, please be advised that your client has requested that I don't interpret what they are saying, so I have explained that due to company's policy, everything must be interpreted. Here's the rendition. And then start interpreting.
I'm suffering from abdominal pain since yesterday. I can speak English. No need to interpret, dear interpreter.
Regardless of the situations in which either of the parties may understand one another or start communicating in the other party's language, as an interpreter you must not remain silent and intervene to advise both parties of the importance of allowing you to interpret. Start by addressing the client by saying, This is your interpreter. To preserve the efficiency of the communication and assure the accuracy and completeness of the interpretation, may I ask your client to please allow me to interpret your statements before they reply? Then, you'll tell the LEP the same thing in the target language. After the reoccurrence of the situation, you may address the client on the third time by saying, It seems that your client can speak English. Would you like to speak to him directly? I can stay on the line and step in if my services are needed. And wait for the client's further instructions.
Mr. Interpreter, please hold on to the line.
If you are asked to hold on the line during an interpretation session by the client for an undisclosed amount of time, you need to acknowledge and hold. Acknowledge the client and hold. When 10 minutes passes, state in English, "Do I have name of the client/provider on the line?" If no response, wait for 3 seconds and repeat the question. "Do I have name of the client/provider on the line?" Still no response. Wait for another 3 seconds and state the following in English. "This is the interpreter. I would like to advise that in order to avoid overbilling due to a long hold, at this moment I will have to disconnect from the line. I will now brief your client and then proceed to disconnect." Now, you need to explain the situation to the LEP in the target language by saying, "This is your interpreter. I will have to disconnect from the call. Please continue waiting and a new interpreter will be brought onto the line to assist you." Finally, proceed with the call closure in English. Hold time. Important notes. This 10-minute hold rule is applicable when the client does not disclose the amount of time they want the interpreter to hold and the client doesn't seem to be returning to the line. When you need to use this protocol, you would need to log the incident and report it to your direct manager. If the client returns to the line, hold time resets. You need to hold for a duration longer than 10 minutes if the client specifies a hold time.
هل كنت مترجم فوري لفترة طويلة؟
During the hold time, if the LEP tries to engage you in a side conversation, you must proceed with the side conversation protocol. Notify the LEP in the target language. "This is your interpreter. Due to company policies, the interpreter may not engage in personal conversation. Please continue to hold." Report the situation to the client/provider when he or she is back on the line. "This is your interpreter. While on hold, your client attempted to engage in a conversation. I advise that this is against company policies and requested for your client to continue holding."
How dare you! You're such.
You might face some incidents where either one of the parties could introduce profanity and hate speech during the interpretation session. Always remember you aren't obligated to stay in the session, and you might excuse yourself from the session after applying the profanity and hate speech protocol. If the client introduces this attitude, you might say in English, "This is the interpreter. Please be advised that I cannot be a part of such forms of speech. Further usage of such will result in the ending of our session." Notify client by saying, "This is the interpreter. Please be advised that I cannot interpret what was said by your client as I cannot be a part of such forms of discussions." When the client asks about the reason, "This is the interpreter. Your client has used hate speech. Do you wish that I interpret it as well?"
I'm going to prescribe you some.
On some occasions the client might drop the call, or the call comes in with only LEP on the line. To apply the best practice in this situation, you must adhere to the line dropped protocol. Notify the LEP in the LEP's target language. "This is your interpreter. I will verify if the representative is still on the line." Proceed with verifying the client status by saying in English, "This is your interpreter. Do we have client's name/the English speaker representative on the line?" No answer? Notify the LEP in the target language. "I'm currently unable to hear the representative on the line. Let's allow a few moments, in case they are experiencing a technical issue." Allow a period of a hold time 1 to 2 minutes and state in English, "This is your interpreter. Do we have client's name/the English speaker representative on the line?" Still no answer? State in English, "This is the interpreter. As there has been no response, I'll instruct your client of a possible disconnect and request him/her to call back. Update the LEP in the target language. This is your interpreter. It appears the representative is no longer with us. I strongly advise you to dial again. I apologize for this inconvenience. Proceed with regular call closure in English. First time, this is your interpreter. Kindly allow a moment so I can interpret your full statements to your client, LEP, for accuracy purposes. Second time, this is your interpreter. Please be advised that continued interruptions may lead to wrong interpretation. Third time, this is your interpreter. I do apologize, yet it seems that I am unable to continue interpreting due to the constant interruption. Please be advised that we cannot continue the call if this will be the session's style of communication. First time, this is your interpreter. Kindly allow a moment so I can interpret your full statements to your client, LEP, for accuracy purposes. Then interpreter will then notify client. This is the interpreter. Please be advised that I have notified your client to pause interruption to ensure that the message is correctly interpreted. Second time, this is your interpreter. Please be advised that continued interruptions may lead to wrong interpretation. Interpreter will then notify client. This is the interpreter. Please be advised that your client, LEP, is persistent in interrupting, which may lead to wrong interpretation. Third time, this is your interpreter. I do apologize, yet it seems that I am unable to continue interpreting due to the constant interruption. Please be advised that we cannot continue the call if this will be the session's style of communication. Then interpreter will then notify client. This is the interpreter. Please be advised that your client, LEP, is still persistent in interrupting, which is affecting the quality of interpretation. Proceed with regular call closure in English.